Welcome to MycoWorks Talks. I'm your host, Xavier Gallego, VP of Brand and Marketing, and I'm delighted to take you with me on our journey to grow the future of materials. Thank you for tuning in. Today we will talk with Doug Hardesty, COO at MycoWorks, and we will have a conversation about scaling up Fine Mycelium from a garage to a commercial scale plant in South Carolina. We will talk about the team, the people that make that possible, and the impact that this plan had with the community in Union, South Carolina. So stay tuned and let's get started. Hello, Doug. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Chev?
I'm excellent. It's so good to have you here. It's been a long time waiting, but I'm fortunate that you're here in Emeryville in the Bay Area, coming from South Carolina, and we can just have a chat. Are you ready for it?
Let's do it.
Amazing. So normally we start with like the question on when was the first time that you heard the word mycelium?
Thinking back, I think the first time was when a friend of mine, when I was in Ernst & Young, left Ernst & Young and came to MycoWorks and was explaining to me this small company that she was going to and why she was leaving. And from then on, it was a journey that led me here to MycoWorks.
Wow. You hear the word mycelium and the company, and then did you apply to a job, or like the company came to you and said like, hey, we have this position open, would you be interested?
So at the time, the company was looking for somebody to run manufacturing. It was I think still small company. I want to say we were 25, 28. I can't exactly remember. And my friend came and said, hey, they're looking for somebody to pivot from R&D to manufacturing, and said, well, I know the guy, right? I have this friend, and he builds plants. He's run plants. He's, built supply chains, but he'll never come. He'll never do it. He won't be interested, but maybe I can get him to come talk to you. And so she called me up and said, hey, as a favor to me, can you come and talk to Matt? Just so we can talk about what is the right fit for the role. And I flew out, and as I started to talk about the role, it really wasn't about me. It was just the role and what would be interesting and what was good and what needed to be true to be successful. And over time, it kind of morphed into Matt and I talking about me for the role. And
watch out.
And yeah, exactly. And that started a series of conversations with Matt and I that was great, where he would call me every week and we'd talk about it. And so, I don't know. I it's not for me. But eventually I got really excited about it. And I want to say it was 3 months later I joined.
Wow. Well, it's a long process, but you came here with a company we were in the garage, right? You had the garage operation. We have like an office with like a few people. So the reality versus the expectations, like, yeah, the material is really cool, but how did you find the company at that stage?
Well, it was a big transition for me. We were still in the Phil studio. So we still had Phil studio. We just started up the garage, right? So call it Factory 1 and Factory 2, although those are big words for a basement and a garage. But when I came, I was leaving a role at EY where I was leading a lot of startups in manufacturing. So I built 2 mega sites for a brewer, a famous brewery. Built the largest site in Coke history. So I was moving from these, kind of call it 1 million square feet facilities to 8 people in a garage.
Big difference.
Yeah, a little bit. But it was exciting. I mean, it was fun. It certainly was a change. It was a change for me and a change for the folks here, I think, as well. When I came with, a little bit of a playbook, a little bit of an understanding of what needed to be true for us to move up the curve, build our expertise, and build our capability in manufacturing. And that took some time. But it was fun. It was fun to go back.
You always talk about your past where you have like these very established corporations and very like well-known processes, You come to a place where you have to apply everything from the scratch. So from like the day-to-day in the garage to the pilot plant to now in South Carolina, it's like you almost apply the same type of mindset in different scale. Is that
exactly? The systems that I come from, lean, TPM, kind of integrated work systems type systems, are just engagement systems, right? We're just trying to get everybody on the same page and give them a set of tools so they can answer questions and solve problems. That's all we're trying to do. have a very clear vision for where we're going, have a very clear path to get there, and enable everybody to get there, right? So my job is essentially to set up the path and get out of the way. And whether you have 2 people, 8 people, in our case now 400 people or 1,200 people or more, the systems are the same, right? And here we didn't have any capability when we started, but oh my gosh, the willingness to learn and the excitement and the almost instantaneous buy-in was something I'd never experienced before. I mean, I'd always experienced the systems at large companies. You had to kind of sell yourself, right? You had to prove. But here, everybody was so hungry for a way to do this that it was pretty quick. The term MycoWay came out, I think, in the first week. It wasn't very long. And we started to put up boards in the garage and, all those things that, somebody from a large 1,200 person, 1,600 person site would recognize. But the excitement was different. People were just hungry. So it was fun. It was fun for me to go back and, have a small team, but also understand, hey, this is step one of a long journey.
So how was the balance? You were in that garage knowing where you will be in 3-4 years after. So how do you balance the day-to-day work, what you're learning, and scaling up the pilot plan first, which was also at the same time, it was in parallel as garage. And without that being almost finished, you already started opening or construction side in South Carolina. How do you balance all of that? What is the secret sauce mentally to be able to do all of that at the same time?
Well, the first thing we did is simplify. So the first thing, I think it was in the first week I was here, I closed the studio and moved everything to the garage, and we doubled the capacity of the garage within, I think it was a month, with the idea that we were going to build those systems and we were going to try things out. So our systems here are very different than, if you went to CPG or foods or beverage or pharma, kind of where I come from, because of our system, because of the mycelium, because our product's alive, because it takes a while to make the product. We can't just lift and shift systems, right? So we used that time to really understand and test things out. And in a way, it was a little bit of a focus group. What works, what doesn't work, what's going to be relevant to us, what's relevant in biotech, building a system that would work, for MycoWorks. And that's what we did. And there were some fits and starts. There were some things that we did that, were less than optimal. And over time, we got to a really good system. We did that with the idea that would be the core. So that was the nugget, maybe the inside of the Tootsie Pop, kind of, that's what we started with. And then we kept building from there. When we came to the larger scale facility, so we went from 8 to 50, we had to double down on all that. We had to include training now. We had to include more of a journey map. That led us right to South Carolina. So we've been steadily building the system now. I think, in secret, maybe in the background for 3
We're getting better
years.
at it.
Yeah, we're super good at it.
Yeah, one thing that amazed me is how everybody in each stage of the process, or in the garage, in the pilot, in South Carolina, everybody knows everything, so they have an awareness of how everything is made, and then they focus on their specialty, and then they can collaborate with the teams, and they participate a lot in the process of how things are made. It always amazed me because it's almost like the essence of the day one. Everybody should know everything, so they can ask the right questions, but you should focus on your stuff with safety, obviously. And you apply the same concept, and it's scale up at 400 or hundreds of people that we have right now. But that blew my mind at the beginning, how you can keep that core sentiment with people.
Well, it's relatively simple. Everyone wants to be on the same page. Everyone who wants to win. Everybody wants to have a win. It's my job to define a win, make sure that the win is available, and empower everybody to go after it. So give everyone the right tools. In a way, I'm like a coach. Teach everyone the playbook and then get out of the way, right? And that's how I feel about it. So, I'm here to empower everyone. I'm sure you've heard me say 100 times, I work for everyone here. Nobody works for me. And that's the way I feel. So whatever we do as a team is very focused on the vision, the goal, and bringing it to life. And so that's where we spend our time. And we try to reduce the rest because it's not value added, but it doesn't always work, but we try. And we're getting better. So it's a constant cycle of improvement, learning, and empowerment.
Yeah. And it's working out. Look at South Carolina now, no? It's like a massive achievement for the whole company, for yourself too, but for the company, for the region. I don't know, it feels like everybody's very happy over there. How do you feel about the opening and how it's running so far?
It's going really well. When I talk about these openings, I always talk about two things, right? The equipment's got to be good and it's got to run, and then the people. What's exciting in South Carolina is the vibe, right?
Yeah.
The office is alive. I'm sure you felt that when you went. It's
Yeah.
just probably the most alive place I can think of. The culture is amazing. And that's because I think everybody's bought in. They understand the system. They understand what we're trying to do. We spent a lot of time in education and training. A lot of our operators were with us for 6 months before the plant started, right? Our leadership. And we did that for a reason. We wanted everybody to be on the same page. We wanted everybody to have the right skill set, and then just let them go. And that's what's happening. And it's exciting to me to walk in every day, and almost every day, not quite, somebody stops me because I have to walk through the lunchroom, and somebody will say, "Oh, I love working here." And
That's cool.
That's what I want, right?
But it feels that way every time that I go there. Like the energy that I feel is like they know what they're doing, and it's very different from what they were doing in the past. It's something new that I'm more excited, right? Like, is it normal to do scaling a company like MycoWorks in the industry?
Not at all. When I've done this in the past many times, it's been a very staid product, right? It's been very settled. It's been number 5, number 7, number 8, number 10, maybe in a supply chain. And that's exciting. And it's exciting for the local community. But this is so different. Nobody's ever done this before. None of these folks have been a part of anything like this. I haven't been a part of anything like this. And so the excitement, I think, is very tangible because for the first time, everybody's doing something truly new. Like truly new. Not kind of new, not new on a label, but really new. And we're not really sure how we're going to do it totally. And so that availability of everyone to be open to that vision, to take that risk, it's amazing. And people come bought in. They're just bought in to what we're doing. And it's really exciting to be a part of.
Yeah. And talking about the product, I forgot to ask you, because I had that reaction on Tuesday that was in the plan, and I was able to talk to some of the folks and show the finished material to some people, and they were blown away because they work in the crust, they work in the raw material, but then they don't see finished material that often, and it was very emotional is not the right word. I was very inspired to see them, how excited they were to see the finished material. So how did you feel the first time that you touch the material and you were like, okay, I can do this. I can scale this?
Well, that was the question I asked when I was here for the first couple of days talking to Matt. I'm sure I asked 100 times, let me see the product. Is the product there? I mean, I think this all fundamentally is pretty simple. You need a product, you need a process, and you need really good people, right? Those 3 things. I know the process. I knew we could get the people to rally to the vision, and I'm so lucky to have such an amazing team. I mean, I have folks from who's who of the top 200 manufacturers and people who have taken steps back in their career, people who have come to us from much, much more responsibility, just like myself, right? Mm-hmm. I've kind of, gone back to that 8 people, I've Anthony, comes from P&G, right? And, is my background as well. Corey, we have people who, although they come from these companies and they have these deep tool sets and they're deep experts, they're willing to be creative and they're willing to throw out what they know and start over, right? And that's a real passion that they have.
Is the South Carolina plan so special that makes people take a couple of steps back in their career to have the opportunity of joining something so raw with that much impact?
Well, I think it's 2 pieces. I think the product is really cool, right? And there's certainly nothing like it in the world. But I also think the team is special. We've been through a lot in these 4 scales that we've gone through. We did it in COVID.
Yeah.
We opened the pilot plant in COVID. I mean, I was flying out here for 2 years, wearing a mask, the only person on the plane, and we stayed open, right? So, there's a shared camaraderie in opening a site. We've kind of been through some stuff now, and that shared camaraderie has really added to our team, both in terms of our team, but then also people bringing in their teams. Several of our folks, have brought friends, have brought colleagues, coworkers. We have groups of folks who come, and that's exciting as well, right? I'm so excited by our team and that the fact that they've had the opportunity to see this vision, right? To probably leave something that was much larger, to come and build something is really incredible.
Sophia talks about this a lot. You always need a first follower to be a leader. And that's very important, right? Like you can have a great idea, but if you don't have the people that believes in that idea and joins that and has the same enthusiasm that you have to bring that idea to life, you're a leader of nobody, right? Like it's also kudos to you that you were able to gather all these people and get them motivated and just go for it. I think it's amazing. In terms of like the plan itself, the people is the core of it. But what makes that plan so special in the manufacturing landscape?
Our plant is very different. A standard plant, you're working with a bit of a dead product, right? I come from foods and shampoo and toothpaste and that sort of thing. And that product's not alive and you're not really touching it, right? It's something that you make and something that you're very proud of. I was extremely proud, and I still continue to be proud of all the products I worked on. I have different points. You could walk down grocery aisles and point to this and that and the other. But this one's different, and it's different in kind of two ways. I think the first is the product being alive, it's a conversation, right? So that our operators are having a conversation with the product in a way that's novel, I've never experienced before. The other way that it's really different is in our approach. So we use a lot of automation. I think anybody who's seen the videos, it's cool. Robots and everything are great.
Very cool.
And I like the robots. The robots are cool. But the robots are there for movement. It's really important to us that the nature of the product is still very much a personal interaction with the material. And so each one of our operators personally interacts on a very visceral level with the material on a daily basis. And so there's still that old world craftsmanship combined with brand new, automation, and computer systems. And that was really important to me. I think it's really important to our customers, but I also think it's really important to this product.
Yep.
That's what makes this product different. If we were to just do this reel to reel with long rolls and never touch it and just, it wouldn't have the haptics, the excitement that I think it causes in the industry.
So basically you remove a lot of the noise in the relationship so they can focus on what matters.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and I think that's the right way to do automation, right? The wrong way would have been to, remove that interaction and just, have the product move down a line and that's kind of it, and there's really no heart or soul in the product. And that's what I think what makes Reishi so different from anything else in the market is it feels like there's a heart. You can feel it. It's different.
In manufacturing, would you ever say that you will say like you will feel the manufacturing process?
That's what's been exciting about this.
It's so cool.
It's very different. It's the ability to spend time with a material that's going to be part of something amazing. I obviously don't have a relationship or didn't before I started here with a lot of our brands. And after spending time with them and spending time with our product and really spending a lot of time thinking about how we were going to automate this and how we were going to scale this, it became very clear that was critical to this product. And if we had pulled the heart out of it, it wouldn't be the same and we wouldn't be as successful.
Wow. I like that. I was thinking about that relationship between the operator and mycelium. And when you're doing an object that is not alive, there is not that connection, emotional connection. We're building something. We're looking at that thing over and over a few weeks, and we're building relationship with our product. Like that's very different. We could write a book about it, basically. We talk about the plan. And we know why the plan is so cool. And we know about the people. Let's talk about the industry. Because you don't come from biotech, but you've been scaling plants before. You know how to do that. Why do you think it's so important for a biotech company to scale up?
Well, I think at the core, MycoWorks is a company that makes something. And we need to be very good at making that thing. Our capital stack is critical. Our capital formation is critical. All that's important, right? But at the end of the day, we make a product, and that product has to be very good. And what's great about MycoWorks is we're sustainable. That's true, and it's very core and it's important. But that's not the product here. The product here is something that's really critical. And for us, as we think about the industry, what separates us is that ability to recognize what we have in our product, to separate that out and not pull it out of the product. So, yeah, we have to scale. Right? Like that's true. For MycoWorks to be successful, and the reason I came here was to build a supply chain. It wasn't, I didn't come to build one site. I didn't come to work in a garage. I came to build 100 sites, right?
Yep.
I wanted to work somewhere where the key problem of the company was something that I could participate in. And here it was scale, right? So that's true. But we also need to do it in a way that's sustainable, but in a way that makes a really good product.
Yes.
Right? I want to be part of something where people have a choice. And to have a choice, you have to have a really, really good product. If your product isn't world class, then people won't make the choice.
I 100% agree. It's a good point. Like we are here to provide a choice to the world. And the more we scale, the more the choice will be available, basically. So that's how we do impact. But it always surprised me that I'm not coming from the biotech world either, but the past 5 years working on MycoWorks, you're aware and how easy it is to have this product, that product, but nobody actually take it to the next level. Nobody actually has a South Carolina plan. It's something that it's very rare and unheard of. Why do you think that happens?
It's a lot of hard work.
It's like a lot of work. Yeah.
We've built a team that's really, really good at building things. We have expertise from all over the industry, all over many industries. And I think that's one of the things that differentiates us. Yeah, we have a biotech core and we have a biotech focus, but we've brought people from disparate industries. I got people from foods. I got people from pharma. I got people from consumer. I got people from biotech. I got people from even steel, car manufacturing. I've got people from all over the place. And it's that diversity of how to solve problems that's really key because we looked outside. I wanted to bring all of the tools we could bring to bear on the problem. And I think a lot of companies that I've spoken with and talked to about their scaling in the biotech world kind of stays insular to biotech.
Yeah.
Right? The ability to bring in those different ways of thinking and those different problem-solving technologies, capabilities, is really critical to where we are today. If we didn't pull from that diversity, I don't know if we'd be here.
Yeah. It's kind of like a core value of the company. The Fine Mycelium, it's accelerated with obviously with you coming in and building the teams that have been helping out to scale up. But the fact that we always pull from very different backgrounds, the fact that we come from already like a field that is not biotech also, it just it makes me believe that that's something that is the right formula. I don't know if it's a formula yet, but it's the right formula to be able to, scale up or have a better tools or better people, for being able to scale it.
I pulled the best team I could. I've been very lucky to have people from my network, outside my network, from different areas, be really excited about the company and be really excited about the processes we're teaching and be really excited about our journey. And that's what's enabled us, right? So it's not just, we're out looking for diversity. It's really critical that we find people who are passionate, who have deep tool sets and have a different way of thinking. And then the diversity comes. What I say to the recruiters and the folks who are working with our teams and building our organizational structure is, the perfect person for MycoWorks has a deep set of tools, is willing to throw those out and be creative, right? So they have them at the ready.
You know a lot, right? Cool. Forget about it.
Yeah. But don't come in and with your hammer looking for a nail.
Yeah.
Figure out what's going on and pull from your tools and figure it out.
Yeah.
But be open.
Yeah. It's a good. Definitely the right mindset. Definitely the right mindset. Okay, we'll play a game of imagination now, Doc. I hope that you are with me. So I imagine you are in the old office of MycoWorks and you're talking to Matt and suddenly your phone ring. It's an iPhone 11. I don't know what iPhone was that. But the phone ring and it's you from the future. And that you from the future can tell you something. What do you say to yourself when you were interviewing at MycoWorks?
Get ready for a wild ride. One of the most exciting things about working at MycoWorks is how different my day is on a daily basis. Somebody once told me early on, one of my mentors, when I was asking, what it's like to be a COO, right? They said, well, you get all the hard problems every day. So whatever the hardest problem is, that's your problem. And that's been true. And that's been exciting. And the diversity of opportunity for me to learn has been incredible.
Wow.
So I came in and I think on the manufacturing side, I know a lot. It was certainly new to me to come to a small company. So I learned a lot about that. I learned a lot about startups and how they work. I learned a lot about journey mapping and strategic mapping over time. And I spent a lot of time thinking about how to bring things into the company to get us on that journey and to move us up. And that's been fascinating and exciting. And, it hasn't always been perfect, but I'd say more often than not, it's okay. And that's why we're where we're at. But yeah, that's been exciting. And, I've probably got a lot more gray hair than when I started out. But when I started, when I was talking to Matt, I knew I was not going to know where I ended up. We didn't know. We didn't have a site for the plant. We didn't have anything. And so I talked to my wife and I said, hey, we're going to, if you're up for this, let's do this. And she's awesome. So of course she just agreed and said, let's do this. Let's have an adventure, right? Which is strange at my point in my career.
I think it's strange for a lot of people because from my perspective, the way I heard your story, and also it's like shared by other people in the company, it's almost like you knew that you were moving, you didn't know where, and you were like so excited about the project. Like it's one of the lifetime opportunity. Everybody was like, yes, I'm going to move to whatever it is. I'm like, wow. This like never happened to me, like it's so different.
And again, it's a really strange thing to do when you're 30 years into your career, right?
Yeah.
That to me was really exciting. So I would tell myself, hey, you're going to end up in South Carolina. And I didn't know at the time, but it's been a journey. It's been so much fun. I've grown as a person. I've grown as a leader. I pushed myself. The board has pushed me. Matt's pushed me. And I think the other way around too. And so it's been exciting.
Yeah. Well, that call to yourself will be very positive. It's like, yeah, go for it. Well, right. Yeah. Go.
Oh, and by the way.
And by the way, it's going to be hard, but like, it's okay.
Yeah. But it's all right.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I don't want to finish, but it's late and you had a long day. So we have to have like our last question. And normally we'd end with what sustainability means to you, because it can mean so many things for different people. And I want to hear what it means to you.
Well, sustainability to me means that the product, which is world-class, also is something that can be reproduced in a meaningful way without damage to the environment. But that product has to be good. No one will choose to move to a poor product. I don't care what that product promises, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a poor product. And the exciting thing about Reishi is we're not asking anyone to make sacrifices on the product. This is a great product and it works and it's cool. And also, oh, by the way, it's mushrooms.
Yeah.
And it's fully sustainable. And we only grow it on 4 ingredients. And oh, by the way, it doesn't have any plastic. And oh, by the way, there's so many of those.
The by the way, are endless.
Yeah, but fundamentally, it's a really cool product. That's it.
Yeah. If you have a shitty product and you scale it, there's a lot of shit. If you have a great product and you scale it, then it's, like you're doing something right. Scaling is not the solution of everything. It's depending what you scale. That's what I'm hearing. It's like you have to scale a good thing, a good product. Otherwise, like...
What's the point?
Yeah, what's the point? Yeah, right.
You're not going to build a team on a poor product. You're not going to spend the time engineering like we have on a poor product. You're not going to be able to build a strategic vision around a poor product. It's so much harder. Where here, it's actually relatively easy. Honestly, I know I don't want to say it's easy to do what I do, but, because it's not. But it's easier when you have a vision and the vision makes sense. And here, the vision is very clear. Right? We will change the world by making product, and so it's easy to get behind making a really good product, especially when you're making it from wood. It's pretty easy. And it's very exciting for the team. And what's been amazing for me to watch is how many people get behind this vision. The other thing, and this is probably less obvious, it's probably maybe not what you mean by sustainability, but in manufacturing, people can get burnt out. It's a lot. And manufacturing, let's face it, isn't the sexiest thing. There aren't a ton of people in the world who grow up and say, I want to be a line leader. Someday I'm going to go to engineering school and be a line leader. We've been able to put together a team and a way of working in the Myco way that is sustainable, where it's easier for people to get behind. It's easier for our operators to see the vision. It's easy for our operators to be aligned every day. And it's easy for them to be empowered. And that is sustainable. I'm trying to also find a different way, a better way to manufacture things. Better for the people, better for the product, better for the world. And a lot of what we're doing is trying to tie people to that vision of doing things a different way. And that's what's been exciting in Union, is people have come in and they'll say to a person, this is not like any place I've ever worked. This is so cool. This is very different. And that's what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to achieve a better way, not just in the product, but in how we make things as well.
Yeah. Well, it sustainability means different things for different people. And I like your approach of the product needs to be good, but also how you do the product needs to be sustainable. It makes sense coming from you. that makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure. And hopefully we can do this again. Maybe you can be in South Carolina when we do it next time. And in the radio station.
Yeah, or maybe we can go to Midway.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Our favorite barbecue spot that's right down the road.
Yeah. Well, appreciate you. Thank you so much for everything. Congratulations on the opening and how the plan is running. I always say to the team when I'm there, like it's amazing. And we'll see you soon.
Great. Awesome. Thanks.
Cheers. Thanks, everyone, for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoyed as much as I did hosting it. We are thrilled to have you with us in our journey. So, if you want to learn more, please follow our Instagram page at MycoWorks for our latest news and more. This episode is being produced by Maddie Nathans, sound editing by Corny Gallardo, content editing by Chanda Aloto.